Today, I'd like to continue the conversation on Europe that we started by looking at Unicredit and Commerzbank. For the people who follow me, you know that I have multiple narratives that I always maintain and then watch news items and data and information to see what narratives are supported or what not so I can eliminate them or concentrate on the one I think is going to happen. So I just want to say another data point today that Crédit Agricole, a French bank, announced that they just put in to Spain to be able to start taking deposits, get a license to take deposits in Spain. So another data point, okay? Doesn't mean anything. It's just something that we note and we move on. Okay, now John Wade, I don't know if it's a real name or not, asked me then, how does the EU work when they guarantee stuff? Because they don't really have the taxing power of all the member states underneath, and they don't. So what they do is they create a facility, and the facility could be for QE, it could be for investment or whatever. And what would happen then is they would, all the member states would decide this is what we're going to do, but then they had to go get sign off from Germany. So Germany, it was the economic powerhouse of Europe, and they kind of made the rules. I mean, I think this is, generally accepted from everybody. If Berlin said no, then the answer was no. And so really for Germany, it became a cost benefit. How much did it cost? And what was the benefit to us? So here is Germany's current account balance. You can see it goes back, to 2004. But what I want you to concentrate, you can see the EU is in blue, okay? And you can see from 2004, the vast bulk of Germany's exports went to the EU. So Germany was kind of caught, right? So when the EU wanted to do something and Germany didn't want to do it, they had to do their cost benefit analysis. And basically they would have to come up with something that was acceptable to them. They would kind of cut it back on how much money they're going to lend and so forth. But as you can see, they were caught. Now it's kind of changed a little bit on where things are going, more to the US and a little less to the EU. So what's changed for Europe and for Germany? Well, it was really the Russia-Ukrainian war. And then on July 26, 2022, Russia stopped delivering gas to Europe. And this caused huge economic dislocations in the European theater, which still have not been reckoned with today. So this chart is pretty interesting. It shows the COVID there when everyone got hit. But I really want to concentrate on the right side over here, okay? Notice there was very little blue before 2022. After 2022, the investment for the Germans into energy became a huge expenditure for them. And the reason being is that they had cheap Russian gas all the way up until July of 22. And now they don't. And so when you look at it, initially, when this first happened, Germany was basically paying around 13 times what Americans pay for gas. Now, when I say Americans, I'm talking about our industrial, okay? Now, what happened is it's down to about 8 times now, 8 times the US. And this is an issue for Germany for one reason. They're a huge exporter, a global exporter. And when you think of their business model, all the way up until July of 22, was cheap gas, okay, and an integrated export industry. What do we mean by integrated? What we mean is that they had the gas would come in, and they would then use it to make steel, because you had to make cars, okay, or tractors, or whatever they were making. And you also had to have, then they had a huge oil industry where you make all the other materials like BASF, which is totally based upon the price of the gas. So when you started looking at Germany's integrated model, it immediately became, well, it wasn't cost effective in the world anymore. And you can see the effects it had on the German economy. Okay, so the blue is industrial production, and the red is industrial production from um, energy intensive industries. So you can see they've been materially hurt. Now, it also say on the blue, think about America, okay? America, we came out of that same V-shaped COVID thing, and we have continued up. We have performed better than any Western country, all right? Where Germany is literally one of the worst performers of any Western country. And the reason being is that red line. And it wasn't their fault. I mean, they built an integrated global export industry that basically for decades was envy of the world. Now, just because of energy prices, it is no longer. And here you can see what's going to happen to them. This is their natural energy, this is their natural gas price, okay? And you can see they had decades where they had nice low prices, but they don't anymore. And so now what's going on is they're seeing a lack of investment in their industry. In fact, they're the second worst in the euro. And because when you think about this, with the expense of gas, what do you invest in? What do you export? This is a major issue for Germany. Now, Germany, like most of Europe, is facing a huge demographic challenge. And it's more than a challenge, okay? I mean, okay, Spain and Italy, maybe Poland is worse, but Germany is like 5 years behind them. They have a huge issue here. And we're seeing this played out across the industries that were global exporters for decades. So as everyone's been seeing, VW is going to close 2 plants. This was the first time in 87-year history. And what did I tell you in my data information video is I put more import on things that happen 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 87 years. I put a lot of import on this. This shows you how big the problem is in Germany. And you can see where BAS earnings fall on higher cost, okay? And you see right down the bottom, the world's biggest chemical maker struggled with high energy prices. And for everybody who gets a bad thing, obviously there's somebody who has a good thing. LNG, which is liquefied natural gas. America, Mexico, everyone right now is building LNG ports to export, and they're building them over in Europe for importing, okay? In fact, Greece just announced that they're building for next year a huge LNG port, which will bring in about 20% of their energy, and they're doing that in conjunction with America. Okay, so what do we care, right? Well, in this case, I think we have to care a lot. You have Germany, who was the economic kingmaker of anything that happened in Europe because they were the economic power. Now they're not. So the question with the euro is who is going to do what and who's going to be in charge and how is this all going to come down, and will this be the end of the euro? I'm asking, it's one of the narratives. Will it make the euro stronger? And what can Europe do to, keep themselves relevant in a highly competitive world? Well, the sea change is happening. Just yesterday, van der Leyen named 3 of the southern states executives onto her committee, and these are the ones who want to interfere. So here we go. What do you think? Like and follow, and certainly let me know in your comments.